Hi, it's Alvin George, and so today I'm going to do something a bit different, something that I haven't done before. Uh, I was having a self-reflection, Likita Mkutano, and I thought it came to my mind that this is something that I do, and I feel like most people usually do it. We tend to dwell so much in what we are facing right now, stressed so much about how tomorrow will look like that at some point we overlook yesterday and the things that happened yesterday, those little fragments that build us up to where we are at the moment. So there were moments that we shouldn't like take lightly, or maybe when things get tough, it's a bit like it's kind of worth it to reflect back and look at them and be like, if that was me back then definitely I'm going to cross this mountain right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Alvin George, and today just decided to share my journey in tech. My life has been a well all-rounded one per se, because it's not been all about tech, but I'm going to talk about tech because uh, at the moment it's what I'm being known for by most people. I'm a software developer, and I just want to share how my life has been like from how I started and to where I am right now. I'm making this video not because that I have made it, not because that I feel like I'm successful, not really, but the reason for me making this video, it's to kind of like act as a reminder to my past self of the things that I did, and tell myself that if I was that particular person back then, I overcame those obstacles, then definitely right now, whatever might come my way, I will definitely overcome that obstacle as well. Yeah. So if you feel like maybe this video is also an inspiration, because we our journeys can be the same, can be similar. So if you feel like this video inspires you in some way, you don't be afraid. You can just reach out. We can have a chat or two. So it's going to be a wild run. So relax, sit back, and this is basically me. This is me. Okay. For me to begin this story, I'll have to trail back to where I'm from. Born and raised in Kakamega. I went to Kakamega Primary School. Then I went to Musingo Boys High School. Then I went to Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology. And yeah, so my life began in, like, okay, not my life. It all began in primary school. I've always been this kind of person who I was a go-getter. Like if I put my mind towards something, I literally can do anything to get to it. So in primary school, I was so good at social studies. Then in campus, like was in high school, I was so good at chemistry. But then a problem in between those was I was I didn't really have that clear angle, because you see, most people realize what they want to be when they're young, like, right? Like when you grow up, what you want to be. Someone said, as see somebody says a doctor or a pilot or a nurse or a lawyer. I literally didn't have any of that, and it didn't click to me. Like it didn't knock to me at the time that I need to think of something to become, because I just thought I would figure it out on the way. So while I was in high school, in first year in my form one, I wanted to be a aeronautical engineer. In form two, I wanted to be a marine engineer. In form three, I wanted to be a lawyer, because my dad is a lawyer. So I was like, if I be a lawyer, things will be a bit smoother. So yeah, but then in form four, KCSE happened, and I got the scores that I got, and I was at a point whereby I didn't kind of like have a place to step on for my forward, because I was like, I did my KCSE. I didn't fail for that matter. I didn't fail. I passed my grades and I got a grade to get into university. But the key problem was, what am I going to do in the university? Because from the first point, my clusters were already below. Like I couldn't take law, not at all. I couldn't take any other course that I had in mind. So it was kind of like they've already had the celebration at home. Our son is going to university, but the son himself is asking himself, "What am I going to do in the university?" And so at that point, uh, I just started asking around. And you have a neighbor. We had a neighbor at the time. He lived in the states. So I called him one time and asked him, "Yo, bro, I see you're living large. So will you please tell me what you did in campus? I would like to be like you, man, because you're traveling, you're going, you're winning big." And the guy was like, "While I was in higher campus, I did information science. Information science. So when you go and select your courses, choose information science." So then I asked him, because I had craved so much to have a laptop by the way. And then I asked him, "Does this course require a laptop?" And he said, "Yes, pretty much, pretty much." And I knew that is when I will get my laptop. I've never touched a laptop by the way. Before high school, I literally I didn't have this computer literate. I wasn't computer literate. I hadn't operated a computer, leave alone a laptop. The only thing I knew how to operate was a smartphone, honestly. And so this guy gives me the idea of taking information science in campus, and I was like, pretty cool, pretty cool. If it's information science, then I'm gonna go with it. Then I will go with it. So I head over to the portal, then click apply, then I apply for information science. And wait, I think I've skipped out something. No, yeah, I was called for business management systems, business management in some university. I won't mention which university, but it was some university that I didn't want to go to. So I had no choice but to go to a university close to home, because back then the transfer process was easier since you had to show up physically at each location. So that is how I found myself in Masinde Muliro, and I found myself choosing information science, that is information systems. So fast forward, I am in campus. I have my laptop. Things are going great. Am I understanding the things that are being taught? No, not a second. My worst units of programming were they. But you see, when you join campus, there's usually this notion that people in campus do not read, but they pass the exams. So I was like, if people do not read but and pass the exams, then what makes me an exception? So I'll just go with the flow, sail along, and who knows? I'll just pass my exams. And to be really honest, I didn't do much with that laptop. All I did was fill in games in there, movies. So after classes, we used to go with my friends to the rooms and watch movies and play games. And it was fun. I rarely paid attention to my studies. Um, to make matters worse, the lecturers who were teaching us at the time really demoralized me from learning how to program or how to code or something. So life went by. First semester, second semester, this guy fell in love, but then I got so distracted in love that I forgot about my studies and academics. And as you will guess, I ended up failing my examinations in 2018. 2018, most had these tight laws, tight rules that if you fail more than 5 units, you'll have to repeat. So that's what happened. I ended up repeating my first year. So that period from 2018 to 2019 now, you're at home, you've gotten the results. Now you're just sitting back and thinking about your life. Finally, I got to think about my life, and I was like, where am I going to head from this? Hey, what am I going to do, man? What will I tell my family? What will I tell the villagers? What will I tell everyone who prayed for me? I felt like a disgrace. I felt like a failure, honestly. At the time, I felt like a failure because in the whole class, I was the only person who was required to repeat. And so I did. But for me, actually repeating it took some strength, some convincing, because I had to call some of my lecturers who were there and just tell them. There's this one lecturer during the second semester, he taught us C++. I called and told him that, yo, man, I'm calling you not to complain about my marks or something, but I just want to tell you that you really drove some instinct towards me, like in that unit, and I really love the way you are teaching it. And if I had a chance to come back to your class, I will do better. That's what I told him. At the time, I didn't receive my results yet. So now I've gotten my results. I call the same lecturer and I tell him, man, I failed. I failed. And the guy was like, you're not the first one. You just come, just repeat, and things will all will go well. So I had to call myself for a meeting, and I was like, what do I really want to do with this life? So I ended up, I did something very, very cunning. You know what? So I took my books during the long holiday period. I took my books and I started studying. Literally, I was like studying nilikuwa nasoma and writing notes. Then I started to figure out that these things aren't as hard as I thought. Damn. Yeah. So then I started. I watched this particular series, Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot really inspired me to try out hacking and cybersecurity, and that is when I installed Kali Linux into my laptop and I dove into cybersecurity and hacking. And I did a couple of crazy stuff with that during that period. But then I decided that this writing code and writing scripts isn't for me. Let me see a way of transitioning this Python skill. So I just roughly Googled what can one do with Python skills. Then I saw it can be a data scientist, software engineer. Then I Googled how much does a software engineer make? And the figures were like, whoa, boy, that was a lot of money, man. And God damn. I was like, so reality is like if I just put in work, I will get to this point. And back then, there were a lot of videos of a day in the life, a day in the life, a day in the life. So I was watching them just to feel inspired and feel inspired, feel inspired. Then I decided that I'm going to school and I'm going to be a totally different person because that time I already knew that I want to be a software engineer and I clocked that. And I said for a fact, this is what I want, and no one can, no one or nothing can change that decision this time. So I went to school, enrolled again, and classes resumed. And but there's something happened. So while we were resuming classes, we got the same lecturer who taught me during that the first trial of the first semester. And so you see, he was teaching the same style, the same old notes. So people were discouraged and people almost walked out of the classroom just clicking and cussing. And I remember standing up, I halted the class, the entire class. I told the class representative, please bring the projector. I want to show you guys these things are not hard. It's just the mindset. And I showed them how to solve particular programming concepts. And at that time, that time, it's when I knew that there's something in me, right? I What did I do next? I ended up going to the computer department and I looked for a club. So I was linked up with the club, with the patron who linked me up with the student leaders, and I went for my first meetup. My first meetup was a Python meetup, and I went for a machine learning session. And those guys were speaking of the advanced machine learning stuff, building, modeling this models and stuff. And I was honestly floating all through. I was just floating, nothing major or anything. So I didn't give up per se. I was just like, if this is what I signed up for, then I'm gonna go with it. But then, while we were just about to get out of the classroom, this is when I met this one person who really drove me to, like, okay, if it weren't for her, her name is, big shout out to Glorious Vianzi. If you see this man, I will never forget you. Like, you literally were the driver to where I am right now at the moment. So I Glorious came in class and said, "Hey, guys, we usually have web sessions, so it was on Thursday. We will have our next session on Tuesday. It will be about web development." And I was like, web. I've done something on web. I have done HTML. I have done Django, done CSS, and then I went to that event, and trust me, I just felt, I don't know, it was some way, and that was my introduction into the tech community, right? Um, At first, we were a lot of students going to these meetups because every meetup, like most of the meetups, had refreshments, and we love free food definitely. So from the refreshments part, we usually went, and the event happened, it ended, and so it reached a point whereby I was like, "Hey, Glorious, how which other events can I attend?" And she gave me the routine for DSC. At the time, it was Developer Students Club. She gave me the routine for the week, and I literally didn't skip any session. I was walking into meetups. I was the only first year. The room was filled with fourth years and third years. But with the little confidence that I had, always had my hand up, answer them questions. Like if you ask this question, I answer it. And all through that brought some confidence in me because you know you'd expect to be downlooked because you're young and these people are old, but these people treated me with some sense of respect, and I really felt at home. I felt that sense of belonging, and I knew that this is home. I knew that this is where I am destined to be. This is where I will be. This is where I will grow and be. So I never skipped any meetup. So Glorious saw that in me, and she was always giving me an update, a heads up that there's this event coming up. Don't miss, don't miss, don't miss, don't miss. I attended my first DevFest Kisumu in 2019. Oh my days. That was the best day of my life. Honestly, for sure. Out of all the events I've gone through in my life, like right now, and there are many for that matter, DevFest Kisumu 2019 was the best, honestly. In that event, every tech guru you can think of was present. Shout out to Kenny J. Kenny J was there. Hi, Kenny. I'm sure you'll see this, but yeah, that was my first time seeing you. Kenny J was there. Uh, Juma Alan was there. Alela was there. Uh, Tabitha Kavi was there. Maureen Josephine was there. And man, it was just all vibes. But at the time I was still young, I was just starting out, so I didn't have that confidence to run up and introduce myself. The only person that I did talk to though, and that was because Glorious forced me to. Glorious was like, Alvin, if you get out of this place without contacts, I will cut you off. So she introduced me to John Kimani. John Kimani is he's I think the manager at Google. I might be wrong. Yeah. But yeah, but that is bit by bit. I was like improving, having my confidence grow and grow and grow. And I saw how Glorious used to run activities. She brought in a lot of companies, external companies. She was the Microsoft students partner at the time. She was the Microsoft lead, and well, it was honestly amazing. Some really a good, amazing stuff. And I remember one time I told Glorious, when I will become a GDSC lead, a DSC lead, I'll try as much as possible to be thrice the lead that you are. And Glorious was like, oh, okay, oh, yeah, just do your best. Oh yeah, on my 20th birthday, that was in 2019, December 3rd, I wrote 200 lines of code. Do remember that at the time we didn't have AI, ChatGPT or something, but I wrote 200 lines of code and I posted it for my birthday present. And Gloria said that she is seeing a great leader in me. She's seeing somebody who will be a great leader one day. And she sees me that way. Then I'll definitely have to work being that person. I remember when Gloria was leaving, I literally cried because I was like, she's my anchor. She's the thing that keeps me moving in tech, and I don't know what life will be without her. And yeah, so she went. She had told me to apply for being the DSC leader in my second year, but I chickened out. I did not apply to be the lead in second year. And so what she did was like, or what I did was, I reached out to the leadership and I asked for a role. Just give me a role in the leadership team. So I was given the club PR. I was just being the one who was managing the activities. Like if there's an event coming up, I design the posters, market the posters, reach out to people and tell them that this event so and so is happening here and here and here. Would you love to come and join us? And yeah, it was quite fun because it made me being feel noticed. Because if somebody sees an event under my me posting it, then I'm affiliated to it one way or another. Then I remember also at the time the lead, Kevin Bugwa, Kevin Kamau Bugwa was the lead in 2020, 2021. He used to give me these assignments because he was not always present in school. So he links me up with some guys, like let's say a company that came to school was Kenik. Kenik, they are the ones in charge of this .ke domains. So they came, we had a nice session with them, and well, those guys literally promised us an office. They promised us to book for us an office. But the thing that happened is, towards the end of 2020, COVID, man, say, COVID struck, lockdown, so that couldn't go through. But yeah, it happened that way. So towards my time there as a PR lead, I managed to gather some of my friends who are like-minded, and we were together. We were teaching ourselves how to record on the side. We never had mentors per day who were there to like to see what we are doing. So it was us to figure it out. So I remember we started going for these hackathons in Kisumu. There were that now this is where me and Kisumu start. It gets in. So I went for the first hackathon in Kisumu. I just saw an announcement somewhere that this place is an hackathon. There's a reward for the winners, and I told my friend. My friend was yeah. I told her, hey, there's this event happening here. See, we go, and she was like, why not? Then we went. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. We went to the hackathon. We had a lot of fun. We learned a lot of things. We ate food. We ate KFC. Well, it was super nice, super nice. So after the event, we went back to school. We preached about it. Everyone knew. We told people, yeah, we went to Kisumu. This happened. This happened. Yo, you don't believe us? Here are the photos. Check it out. Check it out. People were like, this is super nice. So the next event, we went a total of about 14 people from university. And slowly by slowly, that is how us and Kisumu started growing, because every event most were coming. So it reached a time where we will go for an event with two matatus. That's a total of more than 28 people. Man, it was fun. It was fun riding along with people who had the same value as you. Like they had the same interests and were driving towards the same goal. Right? So now at this point, we are in we are in second year, right? We in second year, our university has this industrial training thing. And the industrial training, we were being taught how to do this manual work like cleaning computers, learning Microsoft Word and networking, but we didn't have spaces for coding and serious coding. So I remember me and a couple of friends of mine, we went to the university and suggested, yo, we need to teach students how to code because this is a very, very primary skill. We are from second year, we're going to third year, and third year will be required to handle projects, and fourth year also projects. How will we do this project without the experience and the technical skills? So then we are giving ourselves like we will be there to teach the people. So yeah, we formed a small group of ours, and the club was called Team Tech Innovators Most Team, and as team, we were a team that ran the boot camp. We contacted the school, so they gave us a slot for a week, and in that week, we literally taught people how to build actual projects and products, and that boot camp literally really helped people to bridge bridge the gap between theory and practical. So yeah, so that happened. Now we are into third year. So third year comes. I now applied for the other time. Now I have the confidence to be the lead. I applied for being the lead. Then I get rejected. I was rejected, Bana. So Esther G here, Esther G here became the lead in 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022. Yes, Esther G here was the lead at that time. We started off not as the best as the best partners, but we ended up having the best partnership you will ever see from a lead and a co-lead. I wasn't chosen to be the co-lead. I was the one who went to Esther and I was like, I want to be your co-lead because I feel like you might have a hard time handling this. And Esther was like, okay, fine. So together we brought in some companies. I don't want to take credit for this. We didn't bring in Atlassian. So Atlassian was one of the companies that came to our university. But that was as a result of some people who went for an event in Kisumu and requested the guys to come to Masinde Muliro. So by the time they're coming to Masinde Muliro, we were the people who they contacted and we handled the logistics and they came and it was fun. It was so fun. Out of that, we had a lot of career fairs, career activities. People really learned and grew. Man, it was nice. It was so nice. I know I'm saying nice a lot of times because every time I think of those memories, I just think of where I came from. So, but there's some detail I have left out, but that's for another video. That's for another video. I feel like if I add that, I'll make this video too long with some details that are not necessary. But yeah, I'll have another video explaining that other part. But now, as a co-lead, we did a lot of collaborations, brought in other companies, access companies, and we were a lead and a co-lead. We were a very, very powerful duo. Like it was extremely powerful. And now something happened in 2023. Um, by then, I have been known in a lot of places, and in some way, through God's way, I got a chance to interview with Microsoft. I applied for Microsoft. I got accepted for the interviews. So um, I happened to fail in my final interview, and it still pains me up to today. But they say that everything happens for a reason. So yeah, everything happened for it's happened. It happened for it happened. It happened. But yeah, me. But then at the time, Joa, I was kind of. I don't want to say naive, but living your life without that solid mentor to guide you, doing things is so hard because you make some decisions thinking that it's the right one when it's the wrong one. Because I remember that time I had gotten some offers from a lot of companies to do an internship, but in my mind I was like, "Yo, what do you mean, man? I'm interviewing for Microsoft, man. Cannot intern in your company. Why should I? Do you haven't you heard it's Microsoft I'm interning with? I'm having the internship at Microsoft." And I ended up turning down a lot of those requests. Another company came to me and they were like, well, "You have an internship. It's actually a paid one, but you'll have to do uh, Node.js." And I was like, "Bruh, I am a front end developer. I write React. What do you mean Node.js? I don't like write backend." So I turned down this company as well. Okay. Do you want to know what happened after that? Hey, hey. Sometime in April, so Microsoft sends their results, and as you would expect, I didn't get in. I was rejected. And that time, it was like a month in. The people were going for the industrial attachment, and literally I had no place. So I was stranded and desperate at the time. So I remember that I had a friend of mine, Karim Kanji. Hi Karim, if you see this video, big shout out to you, man. So Karim had a company back then, Cryosoft, and I told him, "Yo, bruh, are you taking in interns, man? I will do anything. Even if you want me to sweep the floors, I will sweep them. Just give me a place." And he was like, "I'm not sure but I will see what I will do. I'm not sure, but I will see what I will do. So later on, he called me and told me that there's a role open, and he told me that it's a Flutter role. Asked me if I've done Flutter, and I was like, yeah, Flutter. I have heard about it. I've seen people do it. Well, here's the truth. I didn't know Flutter, and I hadn't done Flutter at the time. So I was just lying. I was just lying. I was just desperate, and I didn't want this opportunity to slip away. So, but Karim was really frank with me and told me, "I'm not going to lie to you. This role is a bit intense, so we need some level of skill." So he gave me a month to learn. I did that. I learned that in a week, 2 weeks, and every time I was learning, I was sending him the progress updates. Uh, but the first month elapsed. He did a brief interview and said that still not yet. So dive into Flutter. Did Flutter. Was given some tests to build a movie application. Movie application by the uh, it's just a thing about movie applications. I have a movie app by the way. It's called Movie Plug. Let me market myself. It's my video. So it's my app. Movie Plug is on Play Store. It's just movie recommendation app. Okay, I digress. So he told me, hey, yeah, now for the final round. You see, but during this time while I was learning and building Flutter and trying out these new features, it was so fun. So every time that I was learning a new thing, I was sending it to him, and that was not enough. I was posting it in everywhere, my WhatsApp, social media handle, that is X, LinkedIn, just everyone to know that yeah, there's this thing called Flutter and it's so nice. So I was very vocal about it. So it reached the time for my final interview with Karim, and unfortunately, he said that I did a good job learning, and he was impressed. But unfortunately, I wasn't ready for that role. It was a mid-level role, and I was just a struggling beginner. So it hurt. And at the time, I already knew that I want to go for attachment because time I was already far gone. It was so far gone. So I had to do what I did best. Did Flutter. That is how I got into Flutter by the year 2022. So in 2022, I make a lot of noise of Flutter, post it, and post it. So I remember this event, Google I/O Kisumu 2022. Alela was there, asked people who knows Google technologies, and I was like, my hand up. Yes, Flutter, and she was like, all then I know you have seen your work, and I was like, really? Really? Alela, Alela has seen my work. I was so happy because quick rewind 2019. So I saw Alela on stage at DevFest 2019, right? I never had a chance to speak to her. In 2020, 2021, at the hackathon in Kisumu, Alela was there. I was starstruck. I never had the courage of talking to her. 2022 at Google I/O in Kisumu, Alela has seen my work. Hey, man, that was like literally the best day of my life, man. Honestly, and I continued doing it. I continued working and working and working on Flutter. Then one way or another, I got an invite in 2023. Now this is when I started being now known in the Flutter space. One thing that I did immediately, because I loved Flutter and that, called myself that Flutter guy, the only one, that Flutter guy. And so everyone was, not everyone, but at the moment, I was like, this is now the direction that I wanna take. Hold on. Let me just check something. All right. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we're now at the year in the year 2023. 2023. Flutter comes to Kenya. I got an invite. Uh, I met the Flutter team. Manzi, that is another transforming. There's a thing about when Google gives an invite and they pay for your flight and accommodation for the 3 days, and you're going to meet the Flutter team. People you just see on YouTube, I was binging Flutter channels on YouTube, the likes of The Boring Show. Mm. They were actually my favorite shows. And I got a chance to meet them. Craig Lebens, Han, and Kat. Where it was, it was just it was life transforming moment. And in the same event, I also happened to meet the lead for Flutter Kisumu. You see where these things are channeling, right? The lead of Flutter Kisumu at the time, her name is the one and only Maureen Josephine. Yes, the one and only. She was at the time. She was the one and only female Flutter GDE in sub-Saharan Africa. I got to meet her, and I got absorbed into the Flutter Kisumu organizing team, so just helping out here and there. And oh, by the way, at the event Flutter Forward, some other amazing person that I met was Candy J, man. Remember again, 2019, I saw Candy J on stage, DevFest Kisumu, and now we're meeting like, yeah, face to face, Flutter Kisumu, Candy J. Yeah, it was amazing, man. It was it was awesome. So we 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 fast forward, right? We had Flutter Forward extended Kisumu happens. Then after that, oh, my bad, I've skipped some very crucial detail. Towards 2022, in the month of August, I got accepted as the GDSC lead for my university. So 2022 spanning into 2023, I'm now a GDSC lead. So community work now is stacking on top of each other, stacking. And who am I? Like, it's all been, man. I'm just shooting. And the reason I was so focused and keen in communities is because you see where I'm from, Kakamega. We don't have that much opportunities like those many events, because in Nairobi you step into this, oh, this is a startup, this is a hub, these guys are doing this, you're in JQuat, D-Star, UN. In Kakamega, most is the only university for that matter. For us to get access to access to such events, we either go through go to Kisumu or go to Nairobi. So I was the bridge. I was the one going literally to Kisumu at every event. I was the one going to Nairobi at every event, so that I can at least learn what these people are doing out there that I can bring back to my community at home. Yes, just clap for me. Yeah, I was doing that, man. It was quite a ride, because I felt like my community really needs this. Because if I didn't, they will just be comfortable, and then how will the opportunities get to them? You get out of university, you find yourself in this crowded environment, you're trying to compete with these people from Nairobi. How will that happen? It couldn't work. Couldn't. So we just need to have to do the work. We did the most. And along the way, also, I had some support from amazing friends. One of the friends who supported me through this journey, his name is Bruce Mugo. Man, that's my brother, actually. He's my brother. Man, I will tell you the story about him in another video. But yeah, so in 2023, we are 2022, 2023, it's now my time as the lead. I discover that there's this problem whereby our region, Western region, we don't have access to those resources that the other universities have. So what happens? Me and I reach out to a friend of mine who was a neighboring university in Maseno University, and we were like, we need a way of connecting ourselves and showing the world, showing people that we also have talent here. So we come up with a podcast. Every Saturday, we shot an episode of a show called Let's Unwind. So Let's Unwind was just a collaboration between Maseno Muliro and Maseno University. So we were just talking things. People, we used to bring people who are experienced in tech. We brought engineers from Microsoft. Uh, Wendy Ondigo, she's in Microsoft today. So hi, Wendy. We brought in Bruce. we brought in. We didn't bring in Glorious. We brought in a couple of other amazing people in the space. And from that, we brought also some marriage, some collaboration, some union between Masinde Muliro and Maseno University, and we brought that tight bond around it. So many things we're doing it together in a collaborative format. So yeah. So 2023 happens. We go and now life starts lifing from my end because it's now my final year at university, and I didn't do my attachment in my third year, so I had to repeat in my fourth year, and that was tough. It was tough, man. It was tough, but my attachment went through, and yeah, I got an opportunity also to participate in some hackathon. It was organized by Health IT under USAID. I think it got phased out or something. So USAID and UN were having this hackathon, and it was my opportunity of winning or getting paid some huge, like some really good amount of money from it. And yeah, being the only Flutter developer in the university at the time, it was just perfect, perfect. I tell you. So we time moves, and we graduate. And then on my graduation day, after my graduation day, I now have to give a talk, the first Kisumu, where I talk about the tech labyrinth. Tech labyrinth was just an basically what I've just shared with you guys, my story, my journey in tech, just showing somebody that you can fail, but when you fail, it doesn't mean that you're bound to be down. You can still rise up again. And so yeah, that happened. Um, that wasn't the only talk I've given. By the way, I've given a lot of talks in a lot of events. In my university alone, it was countless. I've done a couple of things for my university because one of the things that I stand proud of is having an office. It's not every day where common students gets an office. Yeah, but as I said, I am a go getter. If I want something, I go for it. So while I was in second year, I went to our ICT manager and told them, "Yo, bro, I know quite some a number of talented people. I am talented myself, but we have a problem. We just need an office and Wi-Fi." Then he was like, "That's all." Ah, so he gave me the office. And right now, if you go to most, you'll still find it there. It's now a place where people come into, they get mentored, they grow, and yeah, just checking if the microphone is working. And it happens like many people have gone through that office, and they have, like, I don't know, transformed their lives in some way. Big shout out to Kenneth Michuki, the creator of Flow Music Player. Man, damn, he's one of my mentees, by the way. Product of that room. Yeah. And still up to date, we're still mentoring people. So like it's just kind of like a chain reaction. If this class leaves, these are our joins. And it's been like 4 years because we were given that office in 2022 and we're in 2026. And it's still operation. Man, I think also deserve an applaud for that, man. But anyways, after graduation is now reality comes in, right? Because right now, oh, you're not in the spotlight, you're not in charge of the university clubs, so you're thrown in the pool and you're like, figure things out now. You are mature, you are done with school, so it's you. Now that is when life starts happening, struggle to find a job and all. But I would say that is where I am right now, right? That is where I am right now. We're still moving, still fighting through the ocean, fighting through the storm, and I'm certain that hopeful that someday one thing will come and be like, yeah, I have this application on Play Store called Movie Plug, but there you can't watch it. You can't download it and check it out. That was that was a test. Like I just built that app to prove to myself that I can, like, I still am worth something. And the reason I'm saying that is because sometime last year I got madly depressed. Like I was just so down. Third on that, my sister passing away, it was salt to injury, man. And I was like, what's the point of living? What's the point of life? But then at this particular time and this particular moment, I've come to discover that it's good to take a step back and rewrite things. But then I just want to remind myself and remind you that whatever's happening today, man, don't forget yesterday. Don't forget about yesterday. Just remember yesterday, because yesterday was the reason you are today. And today should be enough reason for you to push enough to wake up tomorrow and do something. So this is just part one. All right, a letter to myself or whatever you will call it. But another one will be coming soon. Is the next one will be coming. I'll just be telling you how my life has been like after school. Like no, yeah, at this particular time. So I'm still figuring out. That's what I'm trying to say. Najaribu kusema I am in the path of piecing things together, but I'm getting there. So once this is done, I will have definitely the give you the roadmap or the layout of the journey. How has it been like? But what I can say is this: none of what I've said was easy. It took zeal, passion, and determination. If you have those, if you have those, and you put your mind into something, definitely you will achieve it one way or another. If you sat through this whole video, man, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have nothing more to say for now, but just goodbye, and may the Lord bless you in whatever you're doing. Peace out.